Firefighting is an overwhelmingly male profession, but in Boston the divide is bigger than just about anywhere, and some argue it's causing serious problems. Nationally, about 7% of firefighters are women, but here in Boston, they make up just 1% of the force, according to a recent report by the Boston Globe. Only 16 of the some 1,500 firefighters in the city are women, and no new women have been hired since 2013. The lone 16 work together with their male colleagues in 24-hour shifts, living and sleeping in close quarters. And as the Globe's Megan Irons reported over the weekend, it's made for accusations of a hostile work environment at times, ranging from harassment, inappropriate sexual comments, to outright sexual assault. Firefighter Natalie Delcione told the Globe, as the only woman in her firehouse, she felt tormented by her male coworkers. She said a colleague asked her to fold his laundry. Her toiletries were stolen from the bathroom. Another colleague discussed the size of her breasts. Delcione told the paper that same male firefighter jumped into bed with her in 2009 and tried to have sex with her. When she reported him 2 weeks later, Delcione says few people believed her and the firefighter was not disciplined. Ultimately, she requested to be transferred to another station, and the claims of misconduct do not end there. Joined by Yvette Ram. She's a 20-year veteran of the Boston Fire Department. Thanks for being here, Yvette.
Thank you.
Julia Rodriguez, 29-year veteran of the department, who until recently served as the department's official liaison for women on the force. Julia, thank you, too. And Megan Deluhery is a partner at the law firm Todd and Weld, who's representing another female firefighter in the department. And by the way, we also invited the Boston Fire Commissioner to join us today. He said he was unable due to a scheduling conflict. Welcome to all three of you. Yvette, can I start with you? Can you tell us the experience you had that was most troubling to you as a firefighter?
Well, something happened with me at the firehouse, and I brought it up to the HR department, and the hostility that I had to deal with because I reported the incident was extremely troubling. I was ordered to headquarters as harassed by superior officers. I was threatened with suspension.
By whom?
The deputy chief of personnel.
And could you tell us what was it that you had complained about? What had happened that you were complaining about?
Right. Well, I was complaining about a captain that was he had transferred into my firehouse and was attempting to change the racial dynamic of the firehouse, and it was extremely obvious what he was doing. So I spoke up about it, and as a result of that, I dealt with a lot of fallout from the department.
And there were also some issue about videos you had.
Right, correct.
Could you tell us briefly about that?
Well, a male coworker came to me and told me that he had seen some video images of me. So I brought it to the attention of the fire department, and as a result, not much was done about it. And
did you feel you were taken seriously in any of these instances?
No, not at all.
Julia, as I said, you were the conduit for women, the women's liaison, passed along complaints from women firefighters to the bosses. Roughly how many women stories had you passed along?
Oh, in my tenure of being a female liaison, I've passed along quite a few.
Like what are we talking about?
I'd say at least probably 10, because several women have had several issues.
Of women who said they'd been harassed, discriminated against, that sort of thing. Can you share one of those with us?
One of their stories?
Yeah.
Sure. I think the one that probably hit me the most was Natalie Delcione. Mm-hmm. When she confided in me that one of the firefighters had tried to get into the same bed with her. Right.
And by the way, when I said you were the women's liaison, the operative word is were. What happened to you after you did this reporting?
So after getting the several complaints from the women, and after the latest complaint where the woman was assaulted allegedly in the firehouse, I spoke up and told the administration, the Connie, who it serves as our assistant chief, and told her that the women wanted to speak with the commissioner and they wanted to voice their complaints. So we did have a meeting, and then after that we had a meeting with the commissioner also. And I was called into his office on the 11th, I believe, of April, when he told me that I was bringing problems to him and that he wanted to go in a different direction.
And you were removed from that position.
I was.
Megan, tell us about your client. I know she doesn't want her name out, but tell us what happened to her, please.
My client brought a number of complaints over a period of time relating to her treatment at the firehouse by a couple of her colleagues. The most recent leading up to the sexual assault was of the nature of sexual rumors in the workplace about her and a colleague, text messages, publication of their location, as was reported in the Globe. The response was to put her on administrative leave, the complaining victim, and the firefighter she complained about was eventually relocated to another firehouse. They did some training. She comes back from that leave, and then she's sexually assaulted. When I met with a couple of city officials last week, there seemed to be a lack of connection of the two incidents. Well, we did our training after the first incident, which, by the way, they refused to acknowledge as sexual harassment. And so what more could we really do? Well, if you have a sexual assault, obviously the training isn't cutting it.
So when you hear when the mayor announced after these things came to light in the Globe that he was appointing an independent counsel outsider to look at it, do you not take that as a serious action?
I hope that will be a serious action. I hope they will look at these as connected incidents. I think there's been too much of a hyper-focus on each incident and not enough of a broad focus on what's happening.
I should say that we got a statement from the Commissioner, Joseph Finn. It's my priority as Commissioner of Boston Fire Department that we have a safe and supportive workplace. I look forward to working with Attorney Hodge at the Independent Counsel, and I'm fully committed to ensuring that every member of the department has the support they need. When you hear that, what's your reaction to that event?
It's just words.
How about you?
Well, when we had the meeting, the first thing he said to us in the meeting was, "Men have rights too." So I really don't take
to the complaints?
Yes, I really don't take it serious.
You know, when I listed separately, Megan, the 1% of the force and these complaints, it seems to me as an outsider that until the 1% is addressed, this is never going to be a safe environment for women like Julia, Yvette, and Natalie, because they're 99%. I mean, is that a statement that rings true to you, or am I off base?
No, I think you're right. I think they go hand in hand. I mean, why do you have so few women making it onto the force? Why are we so far below the national average?
What's the answer to that?
Well, I think you've got to take a look at the working conditions for the women who are there and take their complaints seriously. If you care about recruiting women and helping them to succeed in your fire department.
But 89 women applied in 2016, according to the Globe, and zero. Obviously, 89 women wanted to be firefighters.
Exactly. How is it none of them could make it through? It doesn't make any sense.
So very quick, is the solution in the short run like a cadet program? I know there's a veterans issue.
Absolutely.
Like with the Boston, the answer is yes.
Absolutely. And in '96, I believe, when myself and two other women brought forth a complaint, out of that complaint came the Hansford Decree, which basically stated that the department would do a cadet program. You know,
which will allow them to get women and people of color into the force.
Absolutely.
Very quick, do you have hope about this? You've been there a long time, so have you. I only have a few seconds. Are you hopeful about the future for you and your 15 female colleagues?
I'm not, unfortunately.
Why are you not?
Because we've been complaining for so long and nothing's been done.
Julia, quickly.
And we've also been advocating to bring on more women, either through language preference. There's many different ways to bring women on, but they just don't want to do it. I mean, that's the bottom line.
I hope you keep fighting. I hope it doesn't remain the bottom line. You're courageous souls, Yvette. Thank you so much, Julia. Good to meet you.
Good to
Megan
meet
as well.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much. Appreciate your time.